The Marlins are fresh off a sweep of the Milwaukee Brewers here at the Pro as they got big hits from the middle of the order and clutch starting pitching all series long. Tonight, the defending NL Central champs hit town, but the Cardinals are limping into this series, having been swept at Atlanta and having lost 5 straight overall. A.J. Burnett seeks his first win of the year tonight, but will he have to dance around the Cardinals' big boppers? Find out as the Marlins host St. Louis next on Fox Sports Net. Live from Pro Player Stadium in Miami, Fox Sports Net presents Florida Marlins baseball. And tonight, the Florida Marlins, winners of 3 straight to start this homestand, play host to the St. Louis Cardinals, losers of 5 in a row in Game 1 of this 3-game weekend series. And hello again, everyone. Along with Tommy Hutton, I'm Len Casper. The Marlins swept the Milwaukee Brewers. The Cardinals were swept at Atlanta. This is a high-powered offense, these St. Louis Cardinals, but they have struggled lately, and when you try to compare them with the Florida Marlins, and it's still very early, the Marlins, Tommy, are pretty favorable in that comparison.
Yeah, they sure are. If you think about the St. Louis Cardinals, a ball club, as a team leading the National League with that .283 batting average, the Marlins not too far behind. Runs per game, the Cardinals are scoring runs, home runs very close. How about the stolen bases category? Hey, remember the 80s Cardinals, all the steals? Well, that's not the case nowadays for Tony La Russa. And the ERAs very similar. Look out for guys like Scott Rowland, Albert Pujols, certainly Jim Edmonds, and Edgar Renteria. These are guys who are key ingredients to that offense.
Let's focus for a moment on Jim Edmonds. You may recall in spring training against the Marlins, he left the game with a strained left calf muscle, so he missed most of March. Didn't bother him at all, did it?
Hey, he hasn't missed a beat. I mean, he knew how to plan things. He didn't have to play all those spring training games, and all he's done is start the season by leading the National League with that .396 batting average. And Jim Edmonds, a .500 on-base percentage. He'll be facing the right-hander, of course, tonight, A.J. Burnett. And against righties, he's hitting .444. This guy's a complete player. He'll take a low fastball, a high fastball. It doesn't matter. He has that good uppercut, home run type swing. He's won 5 Gold Gloves. He's hit over 300 several times as a major leaguer.
And I'll tell you what, Albert Pujols will be in the lineup because 12 days ago he sprained a ligament in his right elbow and hasn't been able to throw. But he got back in there last night in Atlanta, played first base. Tony La Russa is going to put him in left, and he'll bat third for the Cardinals. Let's check out the Gatorade pitching matchup for this one tonight. For St. Louis, it's right-hander Brett Tomko, who makes his 5th start of the year tonight, and he held the D-backs to just 1 run over 8 innings on Sunday, but lost the game 1-0 against Florida. Very good, 2-0 in his career. He's 1-0 here at the Pro. A.J. Burnett gets the nod for the Marlins, still seeking that first win. He's 0-1 with a .363 ERA. How about a .120 career ERA against St. Louis, covering 4 career starts? There's A.J. He's coming back from that bullpen into the dugout, getting ready for his start tonight, and it's Game 1 coming up. Florida Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Net is being brought to you in part by Aflac. Ask about it at work. By your local Toyota dealers. Get the feeling Toyota. By Bell South Answers. More choice of services, all from one company, all one bill. By Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Gatorade, is it in you? And by Office Depot, South Florida's own office products company.
El béisbol de los Florida Marlins está disponible en español vía SAP, presentado por Supra Telecom.
Friday night of Marlins baseball here on Fox Sports Net. Marlins have taken the field. Overcast tonight a little bit. Some clouds in the air, but another gorgeous night here in South Florida. Let's check out Toyota's Cardinals starting lineup. Fernando Vina leads it off. He's one of the best at second base. Orlando Palmeiro returns to his hometown. He's in right. Albert Pujols is in left. Really had been just pinch hitting over the past week or so, but got that start last night. Jim Edmonds will clean up in center. Then it's Scott Rowland at third base. Tino Martinez was suspended for 4 games, but he appealed. He's in there tonight. More on that coming up. Edgar Renteria is the shortstop. Mike Matheny's behind the plate, and he'll catch right-hander Brett Tomko.
A.J. Burnett, Len, has had a nice run against the St. Louis Cardinals. Last year in 2 starts against the Cardinals, 2-0 with an ERA of 0. He has a nice little stretch of 13 consecutive scoreless innings against the St. Louis Cardinals. He'll work that fastball, the curve, and as we saw in his ball game, his last start in a no decision against the Mets, he also used his changeup about 14-15 times during the course of the game. Let's take a look at that defense behind A.J. tonight. Derek Lee and Luis Castillo. We got a couple of the best at second base in this series. There's Alex Gonzalez. What a start he's off to. He'll be at short. Mike Lowell will be the third baseman. In left field is Todd Hollinsworth. Juan Pierre, the center fielder. Juan Encarnacion in right field. And behind the plate, Pudge Rodriguez. And keep in mind, the Cardinals have not run a lot this year. Just 7 stolen bases on the season.
Well, you mentioned it last night. The Marlins are over 500 as you get a look at Tony La Russa in his 8th year at the helm of the Cardinals. He will sit out tomorrow night's game after being suspended for his role in that bench clearing incident between the Cardinals and the Arizona Diamondbacks. Marlins are a game over 500. They have a combined 1 win from A.J. Burnett and tomorrow night starter Josh Beckett. So Fernando Vina will dig in. First pitch of the series is popped up foul territory, and Mike Lowell will watch it drop into the seats. '84 beautiful degrees at game time tonight. A.J. 0-1. And that was his last outing on Saturday at Shea Stadium. Threw over 100 pitches and exited that game in the 6th.
I think that's one of the things that Brad Arnsberg and A.J. have talked about, to try to get that efficiency down and not throw so many pitches so they can get him in the 6th and 7th innings.
And they worked on some mechanics as well with A.J. this week. He has that big turn, something he started using last year, and he was turning a little bit too much and maybe having that front side come out a little too soon.
Well, it's almost you turn a little bit, then you think you can throw a little harder if you turn more, and it really is counterproductive.
1-2 on Vina. Bounced foul. Good play by Dave McKay, Cardinals first base coach. They have dropped a season high 5 straight, so they're 2 games under 500 coming in. They have been banged up. In fact, Vina recently missed 6 games with right hand tendonitis, and that may at least partially explain his .233 average in the early going. Now we're ready. And the pitch. Check swing, and he went around. Vina's out on the strikeout. We saw a lot of them last night. 11 from Mark Redmond.
He's the kind of guy, too, that doesn't strike out very much. He's usually in the top 5 every year in toughest decay. That's only the 7th time he struck out this year, and he chased that nasty hook from A.J.
A.J. last faced the Cardinals on August 1st of last year here at home and had a complete game 4-hit shutout. As you look at Orlando Palmeiro, he's in right field tonight. And he drives this ball into deep left field over Hollinsworth's head. Standing double for Palmeiro. And he has some family and friends here. Went to Southbridge High in Miami. And
not considered a power hitter. I think he fooled the defense there last year. helping Anaheim to a world championship. No home runs in over 250 at bats. He drove that ball pretty well, a fastball. Drove it over Todd Hollandsworth's head.
So that brings up Albert Pujols. He's in left field tonight. Sprained a ligament in his right elbow less than 2 weeks ago. At the time, the Cardinals said he wouldn't be able to throw for 3 weeks. Deep right. Encarnacion back, and that is why Pujols is in the lineup. 2-run homer.
Well, we mentioned the Cardinals 1-6 when he's not in that lineup, and 8-5 when he is. So Tony La Russa probably told him just swing the bat that way and lob the ball into the infield. Fastball away. This is why this guy has been a solid hitter in his first 2 years in the major leagues. A 300 hitter with power.
Only the second home run allowed by A.J. this year, and that'll bring up Jim Edmonds. 2-0 Cardinals. Well, remember a couple of years ago when Mark McGwire was banged up? One thing Tony La Russa did in a few games is he had McGwire bat second or third in the first inning on the road, and then he took him out of the game just to get him an at bat because he couldn't play defense. That won't happen with Pujols tonight, but he's already done some major damage. And this guy can do some as well. Leading the National League in batting average, slugging percentage, and he's second in on base. Burnett's 2-1 pitch is high. 3 balls and a strike on Jimmy Edmonds.
Pretty good trio of hitters when you have Pujols, Edmonds, and then Scott Rowland.
It makes you think of Rowland's former club. The 3-4-5 in that lineup of Abreu, Thome, and Burrell. Out of play. Full count on Edmonds. Well, on the 5 straight losses, the Cardinals have scored just 11 runs. They've just about hit their average here in the first inning. That's a walk to Edmonds.
Yeah, that's why Edmonds has that on-base percentage now with that walk, just a little over 500. He'll take the walk. He's pretty patient at the plate. And you put together hitters who not only hit 300 but have power, and that even makes it more difficult.
A little pep talk from Pudge to A.J. Yeah, tonight's opposing lineup looks a little bit different than the last 3 games. Of course, the Brewers have struggled scoring runs the last couple of years, but strange to see St. Louis struggling with the power they have. Scott Rowland is seeking his first career hit against A.J. Burnett. He's 0 for his first 16. A.J. is struggling to find the plate right now.
Yeah, not only is Rowland 0 for 16 in his career against A.J., he comes into this game tonight 2 for his last 20. So he's struggled recently.
Three balls, no strikes. Yeah, with those struggles, Rowland has seen his batting average dip from 327 to 250. Got off to a very good start. 3-1.
Well, right now, Roland's going to look for that fastball, 3-1.
There's Jim Edmonds getting his lead off first base. And the pitch. Fouled it back. 3-2.
There's the example of the importance for A.J. Burnett to throw strikes. He had a guy up there looking for fastball, got the fastball, and still didn't get out front, still fouled it off.
Three-two pitch, fouled straight back.
Interesting, even on the 3-2 pitch with one down, Edmonds not running.
Edmonds has not attempted a stolen base this year. Of course, bothered by that strained calf muscle early on. Another foul. Albert Pujols with a 2-run homer in this inning. Another payoff pitch. It's low. Back-to-back walks for the Cardinals here in the opening frame. And let's say hello to Craig Minervini.
Thanks, Alan. As you talked about earlier, Tino Martinez suspended for 4 games along with Miguel Batista. Let's take a look at the incident. It happened this past Sunday at a game against Arizona at Busch Memorial Stadium. And here it is coming off the field. There's obviously an issue between Batista and Martinez. And there they go. A big brouhaha. 6 players in all were either suspended and or fined. Batista for 10 games. Martinez for 4 today. Also Jeff Fazzaro, the Cardinals, suspended for 3 games. And Mike Matheny and Eddie Rodriguez hit with fines. La Russa suspended for 1 game. Now, the players can appeal. That's exactly what Tino Martinez did. So he's in the lineup tonight. He was scheduled to start tonight, the suspension. And as for Fazzaro, his suspension is scheduled to start on the 30th. So big news off the field in baseball. We'll see what happens. But we do know Tony La Russa will miss tomorrow night's game. Glenn?
Thank you, Craig. Here is Tino. 11-game hitting streak. Did not play last night with Pujols in the lineup. But I think Batista got 10 because he threw the ball at Tino.
Well, personally,
twice.
I hope he doesn't get it taken down a few games either. When you throw a baseball at somebody and you're about 3 or 4 feet away.
Foul tip, 1-1. Of course, he had already hit him earlier, so he wanted another shot at him. We'll see the Diamondbacks for 4 games starting Monday. The assumption is that Fazzaro will appeal his suspension as well, but he has a few days. It's not scheduled to start until Wednesday. They stagger them because you don't get an extra roster spot when a guy gets suspended. 2 balls and a strike.
Generally, AJ's not a ground ball pitcher. He'd love to get that ground ball double play with Tino Martinez up there.
A couple of starts ago, AJ made the comment afterward. He said, I felt great. I just had trouble harnessing my stuff. Maybe that's the issue here in the first inning. The velocity is there, but he has had trouble throwing strikes.
When he's already thrown 25 pitches here in this inning.
And the game we're talking about at Philadelphia, 113 pitches to get 15 outs. And his 3rd straight 3-2 count.
Well, and right now he can't throw anything over except the fastball. Thank goodness for the complete game last night of Mark Redmond to save that bullpen. The bullpen is well rested.
First and second, 1 out. 3-2 pitch to Martinez. That's ball 4, and AJ has walked the bases loaded.
Well, he tried the curveball 3-2. just to show Tino Martinez something, because he knew that Martinez was sitting on that fastball, because that's the only pitch he's been getting over.
Michael Tejera stretching down there in that Marlins bullpen. Now it's the 1997 World Series hero Edgar Renteria. Ball one to Edgar, 7th in the National League with his .345 batting average. Won a Gold Glove last year, his first. Just a terrific shortstop. That's a strike. 1-1. Let's see, Edgar's batted 2nd. He's batted 3rd, 5th, 6th, and 7th tonight. So Tony La Russa not shy about moving Edgar around that Cardinal order. One pitch. Fouled back to the barrier. 1-2.
Well, he's probably his best hit and run man. Shoot, he had 83 RBIs last year. In a pinch, you could hit him clean up.
Bases loaded, 2 runs already in for St. Louis. Albert Pujols hit a 2-run homer, and then A.J. Burnett walked the bases loaded. Edgar sends this ball to deep right. Encarnacion, right at the edge of the track, makes the catch. 2 runners will advance, including Edmonds, who scores the 3rd run for the Cardinals. Sacrifice fly for Renteria.
Shows you the pop that Edgar has as well. And he's got stronger as he's matured, as he's got a little bit older. Drove that ball well to the opposite field.
So the 8th batter of the inning will dig in. Mike Matheny, who's gotten off to a terrific start. He was fined but not suspended after Sunday's incident. Came into the season a career .235 hitter, but he's at .329.
Hey, Len, how about that Brewer team that the Marlins just swept? Put up a 4 spot in the top half of the 1st inning against Shane Reynolds and the Atlanta Braves.
Tough to figure out this game sometimes. Well, they just like seeing anybody other than Mark Redmond. They had just 4 hits last night. Now tipped into the glove, 2-1. Here comes A.J. with a pitch, fouled back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And not only have the Cardinals already plated 3 in the inning, but you mentioned the pitch count. This is going to be a heavy inning on the pitch count. 35 pitches already. The 2-2. Caught him looking, and the inning is finally over, but it's 3-0. Let's check out Toyota's Marlins starting lineup. 1 through 8, the same we've seen throughout this homestand. Pierre Castillo and Rodriguez at the top. Encarnacion, Lowell, and Lee in the middle. 6 home runs for Mike Lowell against the St. Louis Cardinals. Gonzalez, Hollinsworth, and Burnett will round it out.
Brett Tomko is the pitcher the Marlins will face, 30-year-old right-hander, and they need to try to get to him early. He has had problems early in games. Throws all 4 pitches. He'll be a little bit better if he gets a changeup over, but he's allowed 20 runs on the air, and 12 of those runs have come in the first inning.
Well, the Marlins will have to come from behind tonight as they trail it 3-0. The other thing about these two clubs, the Cardinals are 0-7 in one-run games, and of course the Marlins have won all the close ones thus far. They're a 7-2 in games decided by 2 runs or less. That is high. And a good look at Brett Tomko.
You talked about his last start, a good one, but a loss.
Yeah, 1-0 to the Diamondbacks. He turned 30 on April 7th. He got him from the Padres on December 15th. 2-2 on Juan Pierre, who has the second longest current hit streak in the National League at 9 games behind Tino Martinez's 11. Only thing is, Juan's hitting .238 over that stretch. This one will get out of play.
The other thing about Tomko, you can get to him with the long ball. He allowed 31 home runs last year. So every once in a while he gets very susceptible to that home run ball.
Fernando Vina throws out Pierre.
Not much gets through this infield. A pretty good defensive ball club. Tino Martinez at first base. A couple of gold gloves for Vina. Edgar Renteria with a gold glove. And how about 4 gold for Scott Rowland at third base? Pujols, got to run on him if you have a chance. There's Edmonds. He has 5 gold gloves. And Orlando Palmeiro, a good outfielder in right field. And Mike Matheny won a gold glove.
There's a strike to Luis Castillo, who has been red hot. 14 hits during a current 7-game hitting streak. Quickly 2 strikes on Louis. The first inning A.J. Burnett had was kind of like the first inning Brett Tomko's had 3 times. He gave up 5 runs in the first inning of his first start, then 4, then 3, and then he got it together for that last start. Didn't give up any runs in the first. Two-two pitch. Over the pitcher's head, Vina charges. And Castillo beat it out. Vina has that very quick glove to the hand. Made a good throw. Martinez dug it out, but Castillo beat it.
Just the sheer speed of Luis Castillo, because I thought once Vina got it there, he had a good chance. He got rid of the ball quickly. But Louis, when he swings that way and chops the ball on the ground, is coming out of the batter's box as he hits it. So an infield base hit for Louis and an 8-game hitting streak. What's new for Luis Castillo? Infield hits and hitting streaks.
He has been outstanding. Now it's Pudge Rodriguez. Hit the game-winning 2-run homer in the 8th on Wednesday to beat Milwaukee. And he sends this one into right field for a base hit. He hit it where Fernando Vina wasn't.
Yeah, an interesting defensive alignment. I know Vina was cheated a little bit for a possible double play, but he was way over. He was cheating more than just that. And a huge opening on the right side, and Pudge hits the ball there many times. And he just Ram that fastball into right field for a base hit to bring the tying run to the plate.
Juan Encarnacion hit a laser beam home run last night. Todd Ritchie, his third of the year. Hits this ball hard, but right at Scott Rowland. 5-4-3 on the tag. That's an inning-ending double play. 3-0 Cardinals after one. A.J. Burnett labored in that first inning, allowed 3 runs on just 2 hits. He walked 3 in the inning and threw 36 pitches. So the Cardinals in the second will start with their pitcher, Brett Tomko. And he has a couple of hits in 7 at-bats. In fact, the Cardinals pitchers have been very good with the bat. 12 for 43 coming in. That's a .279 average.
Yeah, they get Woody Williams in that mix. He's a real good hitter. Matt Morris swings the bat pretty well.
Yeah, Woody Williams finally gave up a run last night. Did not give up a run in his first 3 outings.
Yeah, Matt Morris hit his first home run the other night.
Two and one on Tomko. Now it's 2-2. Marlins are 8-4 here at home. And they've won 7 of their last 8 here at Pro Player. Now they're full count, this time to the pitcher.
Yeah, and that shouldn't happen with the kind of stuff that A.J. has. He should not go full count to a pitcher.
Bounce to Mike Lowell. 1 away. Well, if you want to listen to the game in Spanish, just find that SAP button. Hi, Cookie. Hey, Raul. Cookie Rojas and Raul Stryker Jr.
Transmisión de SAP aquí en español a través de Fox Sports Net.
Back to the top, and Fernando Vina. Marlins are playing a little bit better ball for the SAP broadcast lately. Raul's a little nervous. I think they lost the first couple.
The one thing about the St. Louis Cardinals, they have some veteran hitters. The veteran hitters, they're just going to look at that curveball until A.J. shows them that he can throw it consistently.
The Cardinals second baseman comes out to the Marlins second baseman.
I always think it's interesting when you have Louis and Vina in the same game. I think there's a little rivalry there that they want to show each other, and the same holds true for Alex and Edgar, the shortstop. So double play combinations from both these clubs.
By the way, we already have our word of the night, the Mardinals, as I try to put the 2 nicknames together.
I like that, though.
2 up, 2 down. Here's Orlando Palmeiro, who doubled to left and scored on the Pujols 2-run homer.
Billy the Mardlin.
Carlins and the Cardinals. Well, Orlando went to Southridge High, as we mentioned. Went to Miami-Dade South Community College. Spent a year at the U of M. Hit .365 in 1990 as a Hurricane.
There's that changeup that he threw a lot at Shea Stadium. And if he starts to bring that out, that'll change the whole thinking process of the Cardinal hitters.
0-2 pitch. Almost hit Palmeiro. The Cardinals have been hit already by 14 pitches, leading the National League in that category.
Part of that's because they have Fernando Vina.
Yeah, he's been hit 4 times already. Now the 1-2. Struck him out swinging. How about 97 on the gun? Still 3-0. Of the second, it's 3-0 St. Louis. Marlins picked up 2 hits in the first off Brett Tomko, but Juan Encarnacion hit into an inning-ending 5-4-3 double play. Mike Lowell picked up his 9th multi-hit game last night. 1 ball, 1 strike. Chopped at Ozzie Guillen. 1-2. The Marlins won the season series last year between these two teams. 4-2. They won 2 of 3 in St. Louis and turned the same trick later in the year here at the Pro. Two-two pitch. Club down the left field line, but foul. Mike knew it was foul. He never discarded the bat halfway to first.
Yeah, Tomko ran that 92-mile-an-hour heater in on his hands. A lot of times Mike's able to hit that ball and keep it fair, but that's a tough one to not pull foul.
Off the end of the bat, a cue shot at Vigna. 1 away. Critics are calling the Best Damn Sports Show period a hybrid of sports news and sports bar banter that isn't like anything else on the air. Tonight, NASCAR's Tony Stewart, Bengals coach Marvin Lewis, and NFL draftee Andre Johnson. Watch the Best Damn Sports Show period tonight after the game, right here on Fox Sports Net.
I'll have to call home and have that taped so I can hear a little bit what Tony Stewart has to say.
Derek Lee went 1 for 3 last night. In the hole. Edgar throws off that back foot. Right on the money, but D. Lee beat it. A couple of infield singles for the Marlins.
Nice try by Edgar. He did everything possible, but Derek Lee, as we point out quite often, runs well. You look at his size, you don't think he's going to get up that line, but once he unfolds out of the batter's box, it's there in a hurry.
And that'll bring up Alex Gonzalez. Big 2-run triple last night. Average at 366. 3rd in the National League. Five home runs already. Coming into this year, in his entire career, he had 5 home runs in April, so he's doubled that total already.
Well, in his previous 5 years, his April collective batting average was in the mid-230s. So he's turned things completely around this April.
Right field base hit. Gonzalez keeps cruising along.
Like I'm having deja vu all over again. An infield base hit and then a base hit between that hole on the right side, just the way Luis Castillo got the infield hit and Pudge Rodriguez hit the base hit to right field.
Well, Tomko did not give up a run in the first here tonight, but he did give up 2 hits. As Todd Hollandsworth gets ready for his first at bat. Tomko commented on his last start, which he pitched well versus the others, where he struggled early. He said it's like apples and oranges and probably some watermelons. Actually, it's more like a fruit salad. He also admitted that the early inning troubles really started to wear on him. Kind of after the first couple of guys would get on, he would have that, uh-oh, here we go again mentality. See how he feels tonight. 1-1.
I have to think that one thing that helped him out a little bit is the fact that his ball club gave him 3 runs before he even went out there to pitch. We talked to Mark Redmond about that last night after the game, the importance of getting that early lead.
For 1-1. Outside. Tomko has spent time in Cincinnati, Seattle, and San Diego. He was involved in that Ken Griffey Jr. trade between the M's and the Reds prior to 2000. Good heat from Tomko, and it's 2-2.
A couple of fastballs, a little bit above the belt. This fastball will range anywhere from 90, 92.
Still 2-2 on the Marlins left fielder, Todd Hollandsworth. Well, these two teams saw each other quite a bit up in Jupiter during spring training. They shared that ballpark for the first year. Slice down the left field line. In and out of the Cardinal pen.
Yeah, it's only fitting that the Marlins not see Woody Williams in this series, because I think Woody Williams pitched 4 times against the Marlins in spring training.
In fact, Mark Redmond made a couple starts against the Cardinals, then was held back a day so he could face somebody else. Another foul by Hollandsworth.
Good battle so far. Tomko staying away. He's throwing that 2-seam fastball, moving it away to Todd. You just have to hope when you're a hitter in this situation he makes a mistake.
Lee and Gonzalez are the base runners. Drilled into center. Edmonds picks it off the shoe tops for the out. That's why he's won 5 Gold Gloves. Marlins fans get 2-for-1 tickets in the Terrace box when you purchase a Zephyr Hills product at Publix. Visit your local Publix, take the receipt to the Pro Players Stadium box office, and turn a Zephyr Hills double play. For more information, call 1-877-MARLINS.
Well, that was a good swing, a good at bat by Todd Hollandsworth, because he fought off some pretty tough pitches, got that fastball in a little better area, and smoked it. But out of nowhere comes Jim Edmonds, and we talked about his 5 Gold Gloves, and as Len pointed out, that's why.
1 ball, no strikes on A.J. Burnett. 0 for 5 with a couple of walks and a couple of strikeouts. Trying to get his first hit since August 18th of last year. At the knees for a strike. 1-1. Popped up on a half swing by A.J. And they'll get another chance. Well, Milwaukee now leads Atlanta 7-0. They're in the 3rd inning at Turner Field. Richie Sexson with a 3-run homer in the 1st. And he's hit another home run. So 2 for Sexson already. John Vanderwall has gone deep.
Well, Sexson had 5 or 7 hits in the 3-game series. Had 3 last night. 3 of the 4 hits off Mark Redmond. 2 doubles.
Tapped foul. Feeney will grab it. Foul territory. I think one thing you can bet, we'll just I'll write it in pen, you'll do it in pencil, but Mike Matheny will probably be in the Cardinal lineup the rest of the weekend. He's only missed 6 innings the entire year. Now they're 2-2 and another foul.
They have kind of an interesting setup as far as their backup catcher. Their backup catcher is Eli Marrero, but there are times that Marrero plays in the outfield, plays another position, and does quite well. So it kind of straps Tony La Russa in moves that he might make later in a ball game.
Joe Girardi's on the DL with a herniated disc in his upper back. Well, AJ has worked the count full. Turned the tables a bit on Brett Tomko, who did the same to him in the top of this inning. Runners will get a head start with 2 gone. Here's the pitch. Struck him out swinging. It's 3-0 Cardinals. Florida Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Net is being brought to you in part by Pennzoil. Protection for the way you drive. Pennzoil, we're driving protection. And by Jack Daniel's Tennessee Whiskey. Nobody makes whiskey like Jack Daniel's. A.J. Burnett trails 3-0. And it'll be Pujols, Edmonds, and Roland.
This is the way you have to look at Atlanta. If A.J. can settle in the way he did in the second inning, had a nice 1-2-3 inning. He's seen his team get some hits off Tomko. They haven't come up with that big hit yet, but they've gotten some base hits. But he can't throw many pitches like that if he wants to settle in here in the third.
Albert Pujols hit a 397-foot home run his first time up, a 2-run shot. Just a bit outside, as Bob Uecker would say. A 1-0 pitch. Big swing and a miss by Pujols. Again, he played first base last night in Atlanta and was told not to throw the ball overhand. It never came up as he lines to Mike Lowell. He's in left field tonight. Sunday morning, start your day out right. Have a high-octane, adrenaline-filled breakfast by watching NASCAR This Morning, the best live pre-race day show around. Get all the latest NASCAR news and information. Tune in to NASCAR This Morning, Sunday at 10:30.
Reading a little bit about Tony Stewart today and the announcement that he made.
Edmonds rounds to first. Derek Lee takes it unassisted. Tell me more.
Tony Stewart was going to pull off a feat that has been done before, but is pretty rare. He was going to drive the Indy 500, then fly on a Learjet to Charlotte and race that night in Charlotte. Well, he's announced that he's not going to do that, and he will not race in the Indy 500 this year. Quite a feat.
I would agree. Yeah, it's a pretty long day of driving. Here's a pitch to Scott Rowland. It's a strike. A.J. is now retired 7 in a row since walking 3 in a row in the first inning.
More strikes, a little free and easier. If you get that first pitch strike in, you can come back with another fastball because now the hitter's not sure.
The secret weapon, Jose Oquendo.
That's some sure-handed third base coaches in this series too. We've talked about the shortstops and second baseman on the field, but between Jose Oquendo and Ozzie Guillen, a couple of guys who can pick it.
1 ball, 2 strikes. First of 3 this weekend against the Cardinals, and then the Marlins will hit the road for 7 out west. 4 in Arizona and 3 in Houston. In fact, I was talking with Josh Beckett, who's from the Houston area. He will miss the Astros. He's scheduled to start tomorrow and then Thursday against the Diamondbacks. Got it. Good couple of innings for AJ since a rough first. Well, the Marlins wives will be hosting a food drive tomorrow and Sunday, so certainly come on out. Great to have with us Todd Hollandsworth's wife, Marcy, and their son, Ty. How you doing, Ty?
I'm great. Can't talk yet.
Nice to have you in the booth with us. Juan Pierre takes ball 1.
Get a little rally going. We'll keep both you guys up here.
Absolutely. I know how it goes.
3-0 St. Louis. Hit hard, but at Vina. Marcy, tell us about the food drive coming up the next couple of days.
Florida Marlins wives are hosting a canned food drive that will benefit the Daily Bread Food Bank of South Florida. Tomorrow, Saturday the 26th, and Sunday the 27th, from until opening pitch, from the gates, when the gates open, until the first pitch.
And non-perishable items,
non-perishable
canned goods, right?
Yes, right. Peanut butter is great. Cereal, macaroni, canned fruits, and canned meats would be wonderful.
Luis Castillo's the hitter with 1 out. And you get something in return if you bring something, correct?
Yes, you do. Any fan that donates a canned good will receive a pair of free Marlins tickets to an upcoming game.
Pretty good deal.
Pretty good deal.
How are they going to identify who to give those cans to?
The Marlins wives will be at each gate. Like I said, from the time the gates open to the first pitch, and we will be collecting the canned goods. You'll see our all of our jerseys.
Good.
Right. There you see. Tickets are good for June 3rd against the Oakland A's, or June 16th against the New York Mets. So that'll be fun. Again tomorrow. It's a 6:05 start. 1:35 on Sunday. Well, how are you enjoying South Florida?
We are thrilled to be here. We're very much enjoying it. Big change for us.
Yeah, you at the end of the year spent some time with Pudge Rodriguez in Texas.
Yes, we did. We did. We got to know the Rodriguez family very well, and we were thrilled when we all will be able to. We're traded here, so signed here.
Here's a 1-0 pitch to Pudge. Hit well, but at Fernando Vina. Marcy, thanks for the time. Food drive hosted by the Marlins wives tomorrow and Sunday. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Florida Marlins Baseball en Fox Sports Net está disponible en español vía Zap y es presentado por Office Depot.
It's A.J. Burnett to Tino Martinez. Pops one up sky high, and it finally comes down. Derek Lee with a catch.
That's what A.J. needs, some quick outs like that, because of the 36 pitches he threw in that first inning. So he's been much better since that first inning ended.
We'll bring up Edgar Renteria. Sac fly in the first, plating the 3rd Cardinals run. Stayed on the ground. Good scoop by Mike Lowell, and it was easy after that. Well, let's check out tonight's Aflac trivia question. Aflac asked about it at work. 6 Marlins have complete game shutouts of the Cardinals. Who was the first? Well, A.J. Burnett we mentioned, but he doesn't have the first, I would bet.
Just depends on how far back you want to go.
One strike on Mike Matheny.
Well, 3 pitches, 3 strikes in this inning. He got 2 outs on 2 pitches with Martinez and Renteria, and he starts Matheny out with a strike.
A.J. is getting in a groove. He's retired 10 in a row.
Boy, last night in the big leagues, there was a lot of good pitchers, a lot of good pitching performances last night.
Well, we saw Dandy here, Mark Redmond, complete game 4 hitter. About another 1-2-3 inning for A.J. His third in a row. It's still 3-0 St. Louis. Florida Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Net is being brought to you in part by Cadillac. Both vehicles defying convention. Cadillac Breakthrough. And by the power of Briggs and Straps, the mow 'em down sweepstakes. Well, the starting pitchers are settling in. And A.J. Burnett's making up for a long first inning.
Yeah, he is. When this game started, we talked about Brett Tomko and his first inning struggles this year. Well, the first inning proved to be a bad inning for A.J. Burnett, but since the 36-pitch first inning, he threw 12 pitches in the second, 12 in the third, and 5 last inning.
So fewer pitches in 3 innings than in 1. One-0 pitch to Encarnacion. Swings and misses.
Good changeup, and that's a pitch that if Tomko gets over, he's much more effective. And he's thrown some pretty good ones tonight. He got an out on it on the changeup on a ground ball from Mike Lowell in the second inning.
Vigna has it carom off the glove. 5 base hits for the Marlins. Still haven't been able to get anybody past second base.
Yeah, once that ball hit the mound, I thought that the ball would kick a little bit further toward Vigna, but the ball was hit so hard by Encarnacion, it got past Vigna.
And here's Mike Lowell. Now, Tomko this year, and again, his 4 starts prior to tonight, had given up a .439 opponent's batting average in the first 45 pitches. After that, though, under 200. So he's been the kind of guy, if he can get to the 4th inning in pretty good shape, he has been very good after that. 2 quick strikes on Lowell.
I don't know if Mike's real pleased at that last strike called by Fielden Culbreth.
Still 0-2. So 3 of his 4 home runs have come with runners on base. Another 0-2 delivery, and Lowell strikes out, slams the bat to the dirt. There's the second strikeout for Brett Tomko. First out of the inning. And let's get the answer. Yes, sir, to our Aflac trivia question. Aflac asked about it at work. 6 Marlins have complete game shutouts of the Cardinals. Who was the first? Ryan Bowen in that inaugural year of 1993.
Big right-hander.
And it was at Busch Stadium.
Ryan Bowen on that staff with Chris Hammond, Charlie Huff.
Now the Marlins celebrating their 10th anniversary, and Ken Lee has been playing along with that theme, digging out a lot of good names from the Marlins' decade-long past. Two strikes on D. Lee.
Tomko had a stretch last year with the Padres. He's one of those guys that when he gets on a roll, he can be tough.
He's been tough in this 4th since allowing that leadoff single. Back-to-back Ks.
He had a stretch late in the year, 5 games. He was 4-0 with a 1.96 ERA, and he powers that fastball there past Derek Lee. So he's gotten 2 strikeouts in a row with that fastball.
32 starts last year with San Diego. 3 complete games. And 8 of those 32 starts ended up in 1-run losses for the Padres. So he was durable and one of the Padres' best pitchers last year. tied for second in the National League with Rick Helling. Gave up 31 home runs.
Yeah, he didn't get a lot of run support either last year from the Padres.
Oh, 2 on Gonzalez. Alex has hit in 9 of his last 10 games. Bounces this one past the pitcher. Bobbled by Renteria, but he flips to Vina. Nicely done by Edgar. Still 3-0. The Stars are going to be out Sunday night for the 24th Annual Sports Emmy Awards, presented by the Best Damn Sports Show, period. Jeff Gordon, Shannon Sharp, Don Shula, Roy Jones Jr., just a sampling of the presenters at this year's event. Sunday at 6, right here on Fox Sports Net. 1-0 on Tomko. Here's AJ's second pitch of the inning, and it also misses. We're in the 5th, 3-0 Cardinals. They have been out hit 5-2. Got a big 2-run homer from Albert Pujols in the first inning, and a sac fly later in that frame. Three balls, no strikes.
Talking about all those pitching performances last night around the major leagues, Javier Vasquez with the Expos. The Expos as a team threw their 5th shutout.
Well, they have been very good.
Not to mention, they're shutting out Houston right now, 7-0 in the 6th inning.
Well, you mentioned the Expos, and good time to take a look at the Cadillac NL East standings. The Marlins are a game over 500, but it's good enough for just 4th place going into the weekend. Atlanta's playing a lot better. Remember, they got swept to start the season. Well, the Marlins started the year 2-6. They're 10-5 since then.
Look at that Atlanta score now. The Brewers and the Braves in the 4th inning.
11-0. Sexton and Vanderwall each with 2 home runs for the Brewers.
Guess we got them mad.
Let's see, 11 runs tonight. They're in the 4th inning. They scored 2, 6, 8 runs in the 3 games here at Pro Player. One to a former Brewer, misses outside. Yeah, another guy without a hit against AJ. Tino Martinez, Scott Rowland, Fernando Vina, all hitless against Burnett. Three and one. Vanderwall's second home run was a grand slam. Hit a 2-run shot in the 3rd, grand slam in the 4th.
He has 6 RBIs and the game's not even half over.
Shane Reynolds allowed 7 runs in 3 1/3. Backhanded play by Derek Lee to AJ Burnett, and see, Derek can tell Fernando about this play during the winter because they sometimes work out together from the Sacramento area. They'll say, remember that ground ball you hit? You thought you had a base hit? No, not going to happen.
Remember I moved over, picked it off the backhand, and then flipped it to AJ Burnett. Of course, big, both of them, big Sacramento Kings fans.
Palmero's double came in the 1st inning. Doesn't even seem like that top of the 1st was in the same game when you look at what AJ has done since then.
That's not the same AJ. I mean, he's made an adjustment. You like to see that. You hate to see the 1st inning, but you like to see the way he's come back and adjusted.
Absolutely.
He's still not thrown the real good curveball, though, tonight. He'll flop it up there. He's gotten a couple of strikeouts with it, but on a whole, he hasn't been very consistent with that curveball.
Palmeiro. 1-2. J.D. Drew came off the DL on Sunday, so he came off a little bit sooner than the Cardinals had originally planned. He's been basically playing every other day. Palmeiro getting the start out there tonight in right field, so probably see J.D. tomorrow. He had right knee surgery in the offseason. Two and two. Cardinals still waiting for Jason Isringhausen to come back after shoulder surgery. He did have a setback recently, and now they're saying mid to late May at the earliest. So they've been trying to piece it together in their bullpen. I don't know how he got out of the way of that one. And you're right, he's really had trouble with that curveball.
Actually, he's thrown a couple of these right in that same area to Palmeiro. Palmeiro, a key ingredient to the Angels World Championship season, and actually replaced this year by an extra outfielder that Marlin fans know, Eric Owens.
3-2 to Palmeiro. Fouled back. Well, Tony La Russa will use that bench. He has had to in the early going, but guys like Miguel Cairo, Eli Marrero, Orlando Palmeiro, they'll all see playing time, even if the starters are healthy. He likes to rotate that lineup quite a bit.
Yeah, Tony's been pretty good about that over his long career. 7th year with the Cardinals. He was with the White Sox as their manager from 79 to 86, and of course the successful years with the Oakland Athletics, winning the World Series in 89.
Another 3-2 pitch. Struck him out. Another 1-2-3 inning. That's 4 straight for AJ. 0-0 Cardinals, home half of the 5th. Let's check out the Mazda power pitch of the game from AJ Burnett.
He picked this power pitch, and it turns out to be a good changeup to get Palmeiro reaching and swinging at what would have been ball 4, but a good changeup had him fooled.
Todd Hollandsworth pops it up on the infield. Tino Martinez comes in to make the catch. The pitcher Tomko is waiting for somebody to call him off. And he's had one 1-2-3 inning, but gave up 2 hits in the first, 2 more in the second, another in the 4th, but no damage on the big board thus far. Base hit for AJ Burnett, first of the year. 6th for the Marlins. They've all been singles.
That's right. You talk about Tomko and the 1-2-3 inning. The Marlins with at least 1 hit in every inning but that 3rd inning. AJ would have loved to have gotten that in the 2nd inning with a couple of men on, but hit that fastball pretty well. Just got it by Edgar Renteria.
When you look at what Tomko throws, and we've already seen a lot of ground ball outs. When you consider how good the Cardinals defense is on that infield, if he's on, he'll be tough to beat.
Yeah, and this is a little bit against some of his game. I mean, in the past, he's been a fly ball pitcher, giving up the home runs, 31 home runs last year. But you're right. If you pitch for the Cardinals, you got to work on that 2-seamer and let the infielders take over because of their defense.
The 0-2 to Pierre. Good block by Matheny. Well, this should be a fun weekend watching terrific defensive catchers in Matheny and Pudge. 11 Gold Gloves combined. Pudge has 10, of course. Taps it toward Roland. Bare hands, throws, and gets him. Outstanding play by Scott Rowland.
Well, there's some of that defense. Not a lot of third basemen make this play. A lot of third basemen get to it, but can't get enough on the throw to get Juan Pierre, and Rowland does both. Gets there quickly and then had something on that throw just ahead of Juan Pierre.
Tomorrow, come watch the Marlins take on these Cardinals and take advantage of the 4 for $44 deal. For just $44, you get 4 outfield reserve tickets, hot dogs, Cokes, bags of peanuts, and a Marlins game program. For more information, it's 1-877-MARLINS. AJ's at second. Castillo takes strike 1. By Renteria. After 5, it's 3-zip Cardinals. Join us for our next Fox Sports Net telecast Monday night at 9:30 as the Marlins travel west to Arizona to take on the D-backs. Our coverage begins at 9 p.m. from the Bob with Marlins on Deck, hosted by Craig Minervini. Always the best seat in the house right here on the television home of the Marlins, Fox Sports Net.
Now, it is circulating around, and I would find it hard to believe, but certainly not out of the realm of possibilities. The rumor has it that Curt Schilling might pitch Monday night against the Marlins. Now, that would be 9 days after an appendectomy.
You're not convinced just yet. And the people we've talked to would be pretty surprised if that happens. Diamondbacks lead the Mets at Shea 3-2. They're in the 6th there. We're in the 6th here, and it's strike 1 to Albert Pujols. Hit a 2-run homer in the first inning. Bounced right back to the pitcher. And as I look at my my scorebook, I don't think Pujols has had to make a play in left field in this game. Well, this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Florida Marlins and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Florida Marlins. Well, if you could erase the first inning, A.J. Burnett would have a perfect game going.
That's the old Mulligan theory.
Bunted foul by Jimmy Edmonds.
And you consider the 36 pitches in the first, then 12 pitches, then 10, then 5. He threw 18 in the 5th inning. He got Pujols out on 2 pitches.
One on Edmonds. Having a great April as always. He's a .343 hitter with 40 home runs in the first month of the year. Last year at .355 with 7 homers in April.
And as we pointed out in our opening tonight, that's with hardly any spring training.
A left calf muscle strain kept him out of most of March. Three balls and a strike.
He's not chasing that changeup. AJ's thrown a couple pretty good ones, but Edmonds very patient, has a tremendous idea up there at the plate.
Edmonds walks for the second time. first base runner for the Cardinals since that first inning.
So for the first time in a while, A.J. will work out of the stretch.
Ends a string of 15 in a row retired. Now it's Scott Rowland. Locked up behind the screen. Now Rowland has walked 21 times already this year. He's walked more than 76 times just once in his career. Got off to a very good start. In the first 14 games of the season, he had 15 RBIs and 15 walks. The 0-1. Low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Well, the last 2 years for Scott Rowland, over 100 RBIs. Last year combined, Philadelphia and St. Louis.
Yeah, he hasn't even been with the Cardinals for a full season yet. But he just fits in so well. Count even at 2-2 on Rowland.
Well, he's a Midwesterner. He was Mr. Baseball in Indiana, which is not that big a deal in Indiana. Mr. Basketball is, but Mr. Baseball, a lot of people forget.
Kick and the 2-2 missed. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes. Well, the thing you love about Rowland, he comes to a team, they already have great defense on their infield. So he adds some more Gold Gloves, but it's his offense that you really want. Three-2. Struck him out.
Well, he is now 0 for 18 in his career against A.J. Burnett. He froze him with a curveball last time up. This time throws a fastball down and in to strike him out. So the last 2 times he struck him out, once with the hook, that time with the fastball.
Two outs in the inning, and it's Tino Martinez who has walked and has popped out to the first baseman.
I'm just thinking, if you're Scott Rowland and you come into this game, you know you're 1 for 10 in Atlanta, you're 2 for your last 20. Then somebody tells you, you know, you're 0 for 16 against A.J. Burnett. This really isn't the night for Scott Rowland to come out of it.
Yeah. Tino Martinez extends his hitting streak to 12 games, 2 away from his career best. And by the way, he's playing in this game tonight. Miguel Batista is pitching tonight for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And has that 3-2 lead at Shea.
Have to be real careful here. That's the first base hit since that first inning. And now with a couple of runners on and 2 out, probably going to be A.J.'s last inning, maybe not. But you have to be real careful with Edgar Renteria up there. You don't want the Cardinals to get more.
Fastball is high, 1 ball, no strikes. Tony La Russa calls Edgar captain. That's how much respect La Russa has for his shortstop.
Well, he hit over 300 last year. Michael Tejera starting to get loose quickly.
Here's a throw to second. Edmonds gets back. Snap throw by Pudge. And AJ's one pitch away from the 100th of his evening. He's gone over 100 in his last 2 starts. Kicking the 2-1 down the right field line. And the Cardinals will get at least one here. Oquendo is going to hold up Martinez at third. It's a run-scoring double for Renteria. And that's that run you were talking about. Renteria able to drive it in. 2 RBIs in the night. He has 17 on the season.
He is such a clutch hitter, and all you have to do if you're a Marlins fan is close your eyes and think of the World Series in 1997. But Edgar got that fastball down, pretty good pitch out over the plate, and he just took it into that right field corner. Just a beautiful swing.
And now Mike Matheny will get the intentional pass with first base open, and they'll go after Brett Tomko.
Tell you one thing, the Cardinals tonight have made the most of their 4 base hits, haven't they?
They really have. AJ walked Edmonds with 1 out in the inning, and he has come around to score.
Yeah,
there's the intentional walk. 2
of his 4 walks have scored.
Brett Tomko is 0 for 2 tonight. He's had a 3-ball count on him the first 2 times up.
$10-0, the Expos over the Astros. Not sure who's pitching for Montreal tonight because Tony Armas Jr. was scheduled to pitch, and they just placed him on the disabled list.
1 strike on Tomko. 1-1. Zach Day. He's been outstanding. There's Tino at third base. Edgar Renteria at second. And Mike Matheny's at first. 4 hits, no runs for Zach Day in 7 innings thus far. Jeremy Robertson got the start for the Astros. He gave up 6 runs in 3 innings.
So the Expos trying to make it their 6th shutout already as a team.
My goodness. 1-2 pitch outside. 2-2.
This is where it gets a little shaky and why it puts pressure on AJ when he intentionally walked Matheny. Because his control has been in and out all night, he doesn't want to risk anything and take it to a 3-2 count. He needs to throw this pitch right there.
Check swing foul. Still 2-2. Well, the Pirates went to the 9th at home against LA with a 2-0 lead, but the Dodgers have scored 4 runs and lead 4-2 in the 9th. And another full count to the pitcher. So he has to throw a strike here with the bases loaded. Three-two pitch. It's ball 4. And another run is in. Give Tomko his first RBI of the year.
Well, that's the chance you take when you roll the dice to walk Matheny. And AJ struggled really in the first inning he threw and in the last inning he threw.
Time for an Aflac pitching change. Just 4 hits off A.J. Burnett, but 5 runs at this point. Here comes Michael Tejera, and we'll be right back. a look at the Briggs and Stratton moment of the game. It came early. Top of the first inning, Albert Pujols with a 2-run homer off A.J. Burnett.
Middle of the plate fastball, and Pujols has that opposite field power, just about 400 feet with that home run for Albert Pujols, his 3rd of the year. And we talk about how pitching sets a tone early. That was a rough first inning for A.J. Burnett. Gave up that home run, another run, and the Cardinals picked up 3 runs. Now he's out of the game, and still the Marlins not out of the woods. Michael Tejera, bases loaded, has to face Fernando Pena.
Last time out, Michael allowed 4 of the 5 batters he faced on Wednesday night to reach. Gave up 2 runs on those 4 hits against Milwaukee in a 1/3 of an inning. He's made 1 start, and this is his 6th appearance out of the bullpen. There's a strike to Pena. Bases loaded. 2 runs are in for the Cardinals here in the 6th.
Pena's always been a pretty good hitter against lefties. He's a career .286 hitter, right around .280 against left-handed pitching.
Good block by Pudge. There's Edgar. And third base, Mike Matheny is at second. And the pitcher, Brett Tomko, is at first. Foul tipped. 1-2 on Pena. And the next pitch, low and outside, trying to get Pena to chase.
Pudge not afraid to call that breaking ball either, because he knows that he wants Michael Tejera to throw that thing down, but if it's down, he's going to smother it.
Swing and a miss. He struck him out. It's 5-0 Cardinals. Florida Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Net is being brought to you in part by Mazda. There is a soul of a sports car in everything we make. Well, Brett Tomko has a 5-0 lead as we start the home half of the 6th. 4 hits for St. Louis. 6 for the Marlins, and they're still trying to get on the board tonight. By the way, Tejera retiring Fernando Pena, that left-handed batter. Tejera really has struggled against lefties. They already have 12 hits against him in the early going. So good to see him strike out Pena with the bases loaded and keep it at a 5-0 deficit for the Fish. Tomko covers and retires Pudge. 3-1 on the putout.
Cardinals have made a couple of defensive changes, and you kind of see this coming once they got the lead to where it is now. They brought Eli Marrero in to play right field and moved Orlando Palmeiro over to left field, with Albert Pujols out of the ball game now. So there's Marrero. He'll bat in Pujols' spot, and Palmeiro goes over to left field.
There's a strike to Juan Encarnacion. Yeah, I think they got enough from Albert Pujols tonight. And again, he didn't have any action out there in left. Strong throw by Renteria. I mean, that's about how you draw it up if you're Tony La Russa. You get a 2-run homer for Pujols in the first. You have a 5-0 lead in the 6th, and he doesn't hurt you defensively, and you don't make him have to make a throw from left.
I think I heard someone was saying that Tony La Russa told Albert Pujols if you like me, you'll just lob the ball back into the infield. If you hate me, you'll try to throw somebody out at the plate.
Yeah, he'll get me fired. Easy fly ball to center. Pretty routine for Tomko to the 7th. 5-zip. Sunday night at 8, tune into the critically acclaimed documentary series Beyond the Glory. This week's focus, Dallas Mavericks star Nick Van Exel. Go inside the world of sports' biggest stars. See the stories behind the headlines. Beyond the Glory, Sunday night at 8, right here on Fox Sports Net.
Well, an important outing, I think, right now with Jeff Torborg bringing in Vladimir Nunez. He's worked the last few days on some delivery things down in the bullpen and needs to turn things around because he is an important part of that bullpen.
Orlando Palmeiro started the game in right, but as Tommy mentioned, now in left field. And he's 1 for 3. And there was some discussion about Vladdy's arm angle. As you look at the numbers, 2 of those losses came in that Mets series, Friday and Sunday, and his last outing was on Sunday.
Well, the biggest hit is the fact that in 8 2/3 he's given up 6 home runs.
Apparently the arm angle not that bad. A lot of his pitches have been flat, but they just think his front side's been flying open a little bit too early. 2-2 on Palmeiro. But Vladdy's kept his head up and he's trying to work through it. Good start. Called strike 3. Let's check in again with Craig.
Len, one of the drills that Vladdy Nunez and a lot of the Marlin relievers do, some of the starters, Josh Beckett does, Brad Penny doesn't, is something called a towel drill. They grab a towel like this, and I got Sam Charlton here from Pembroke Pines to help me out. He would be Brad Arnsberg holding a glove out, and actually they go through the routine, the mechanism of the pitch, and they hit the glove right like that. Now hopefully I didn't take your arm off, Sam, but the idea is they can actually tell from the angle of where that towel hits the glove. I'm going to smash Sam's glove one more time. Exactly if the mechanics are on. So this way they don't really tax the arm in terms of throwing the baseball. Now Vladdy's done it. Jeff Torborg says it's worked out pretty well, he thinks, so far. We'll see how the mechanics play out during the game. Sam, I do want to ask you, though, as we see this shot, man, keep working that towel drill, I guess, as Eli Marrero takes it out of there. But one of the things they do work on away from the mound, little drills like that, sometimes they don't always help, though. Guys, back upstairs to you.
Well, you can do the drills and you need to do them, but then you have to execute when you get in the game. And if the pitch is out over the plate, it's going to be hit hard. Now, Vladdy made some real good pitches to get Palmeiro, but watch where this pitch is. Fastball just right out over the middle of the plate, and Marrero in his first at bat here after coming in for defense smokes it over the teal tower.
So the Coral Gables High grad makes it 6-0. And Eduardo Perez with a pinch hit for Jim Edmonds. Ball 1. Eduardo last year had 3 pinch hit home runs, 10 overall in 2002. Cut by Eduardo. 1-2.
Yeah, Tony La Russa trying to get those guys in to get some at-bats off the bench because his bench has not performed well this year pinch hitting. They did a good job last year. They've struggled a little bit early on this year, so he wants to get those guys some ABs.
Cardinals trying to snap a 5-game skid. Well, they've been on the road quite a bit. It's a stretch where they've played 15 of 18 on the road. And they'll conclude that stretch this weekend. They'll have an off day Monday, and then they'll have a 6-game homestand against the Mets and the Expos next week. Another 2-2 pitch to Perez. It's low, 3-2. Vladimir Nunez is now allowed 7 home runs in 9 innings. And he walks Perez.
There comes a time, if the struggles continue, you really have to rethink what you're doing with Vladdy Nunez, because now so much of it starts to get mental and get in his head. Because, believe me, it's hard to give up that many home runs in a 9-inning span, regardless of how you're throwing.
Scott Rowland struck out a couple of times, walked once against A.J. Burnett. A quick mound conversation between Pudge and Nunez. Yeah, there is a point. I mean, we've talked about, has Vladdy been tipping pitches? Is his front shoulder flying open too early? Is his arm angle in the correct way? But there's a point where you have to forget about mechanics and just pitch. And certainly you can't think about all that stuff when you're on the mound. Fouled straight back.
Good velocity there, 93 miles an hour on that fastball to Rowland.
Wild game in Atlanta. 12-5 Brewers. They're in the 7th. Richie Sexson has hit 3 home runs. Five homers for the Brewers, 3 by Sexson, 2 by John Vander Wal. Been a good road trip for Richie Sexson.
Boy, hasn't it, though?
5 homers tonight. They didn't have one in the series here. Chipper Jones has hit his 3rd for the Braves. May have just nicked the glove of Nunez, and heading to 3rd is Perez. They're at the corners with 1 out. Solidly struck by Scott Rowland. And now it's Tino Martinez, who was informed today that he had been suspended for 4 games. Going after Miguel Batista of the Diamondbacks on Sunday. He has appealed. He continues to play. 12-game hitting streak intact as he singled in the 6th.
Oh, look at that. The Cardinals 6 runs on 6 hits, and the Marlins no runs on 6 hits.
Coming into this game, the Marlins were 5th in runs scored in the National League. Cardinals 6th, 2 runs behind, but they're now 4 up on the season tally board. One and one on Tino Martinez. Over the last 8 years, going into 2003, Martinez has 860 RBIs. That ranks second among all first basemen. Jeff Bagwell, with 934, has the lead. Right center field and very deep, but going to stay in the park. Martinez just got under it. He will drive in a run. Perez scores to make it 7-0.
That's something that Tino Martinez knows how to do, and that is drive in runs. 6 times he's had over 100 RBIs. 5 of those times with the Yankees, and 1 time with Seattle.
Two down in the inning. Roland is at first, and it's Edgar Renteria. Mike Lowell takes that hop off the edge of the grass. 2 more for the Cardinals, 7-0. FloridaMarlins.com has the broadest selection of items for the team you love. Shop FloridaMarlins.com, the official sign of wearing your heart on your sleeve, cap, pullover, and lots more. Marlins get back in the game. Last of the 7th, Brett Tomko cruising along. He's given up 6 singles and no runs through 6. Eduardo Perez stays in the game. He's in right field. And Eli Marrero moves to center. So if you're Brett Tomko and the Cardinals, you feel very good about his last 2 starts. 1 run in 8 innings last time out, and a shutout thus far tonight.
And he hasn't even reached the 80 pitch mark yet.
Over Martinez for a base hit. Derek Lee is 2 for 3.
That was pitch number 74.
Well, the Cardinals have 1 complete game. And that belongs to Matt Morris.
Well, and they've been working with a bullpen that doesn't have their closer that they had planned on, Jason Isringhausen.
Yeah, the bullpen couldn't hold a late lead last night. Steve Klein took the loss. Cal Eldred came on, threw 1 pitch, and Andrew Jones won the game for the Braves, a 2-run single in the 9th.
Yeah, Steve Klein has 3 saves, and Dustin Hermanson has 1 save.
Marlins offense has been handcuffed tonight. Still no base runners at third. We've had 3 guys reach second. Blaine Neal is up.
Well, another guy who needs some work.
Base hit for Gonzalez to center. Derek Lee with those long strides easily motors into third. First and third with nobody out. Finally, the crowd has something to cheer about for the Fish tonight.
But I tell you, I don't ever recall seeing Alex consistently swing the bat as well as he has. He is locked in. He's staying back well. That's a heck of a pitch by Tomko. You can see Matheny getting down ready to smother the ball that was so low. And Alex drilled it into center field.
Hollingsworth is 0 for 2. An RBI chance in the second. First and second with 1 out, and he lined to center. A nice catch by Jim Edmonds. He's 2 for 20 with runners in scoring position. He slices this one out of play. He's behind quickly, 0-2.
This was a tough matchup for Todd Hollingsworth, too, because he came into this game with quite a few at-bats against Tomko. He was 2 for 17, now 2 for 19 in his career against Tomko.
Downstairs, 1-2. The Marlins have been shut out one time. That was in Atlanta. They lost to the Braves 3-0. So get that first run on the board as Marrero makes the grab. Here comes Derek Lee. And for Todd Hollinsworth, that's his third RBI. It's 7-1. Pinch batter now, it's switch hitting Brian Banks. Banker's 2 for 9 in that pinch hitting role. Strike one. Haven't seen much action from the bench players on this homestand. Didn't see any of them last night. Ryan got a pinch hit at bat in the 11th on Wednesday. Tomko lost it, but flips to Martinez in time to get the second out. Gonzalez is at second with 2 away. And that'll bring up Juan Pierre, who has grounded out 3 times. Twice to second, once to third. Roland retired him on a barehanded play on a swinging bunt in the 5th. Ball 1 to Pierre. Now Kip Wells hit a home run for the Pirates tonight. But the Buccos didn't win. Dodgers scored 5 runs in the night to erase a 2-0 deficit and win 5-2. Mike Williams, who's one of the better closers in baseball, lost it.
Yeah, one of the better unknown closers.
Bounding ball to Vigna. Inning over. Marlins get on the board with a run on 2 hits. It's 7-1 Cardinals as we start the 8th inning here at Pro Players Stadium. First of 3 this weekend, and it's Blaine Neal in his 9th game. He's had 1 perfect outing this year, and that came on Sunday against the Mets. Matheny 0 for 2, was intentionally walked in the 6th. Solid base hit to right for Mike Matheny. He started the year with an 8-game hitting streak. Came in tonight at .329, and he's now 1 for 3.
You know, the one thing that Blaine Neal has been talked to about, and it's been tough for him to do, is to, it's hard to explain, but to tuck that front side a little bit. He has a tendency to stand too straight up in his delivery.
Bunted foul by Tomko. Mentioned earlier in this homestand, Wayne Rosenthal, the minor league pitching coordinator, spending some time here at Pro Player, assisting Brad Arnsberg and Jeff Torborg with guys like Nunez and Neal. Sacrifice bunt for Tomko, 3-4 on the putout. Critics are calling the Best Damn Sports Show period a hybrid of sports news and sports bar banter that isn't like anything else on the air. Tonight, NASCAR's Tony Stewart, Bengals coach Marvin Lewis, and NFL draftee Andre Johnson. Watch the best damn sports show, period, tonight after the game, right here on Fox Sports Net. Runner at second with one out. Quiet night for Vigna. Average down to 219. It's 2-0.
The other thing, Len, that the organization is going to have to start thinking about is if Blaine Neal and Vladimir Nunez continue to work out their problems here, then that really straps Jeff Torborg as to the number of pitchers he has down there in that bullpen that he can use in crucial situations. So if they decide to continue to do that, they're going to have to give him another pitcher somewhere down the line in that bullpen.
Well, that's right. They have 6 guys right now in the bullpen. And 3 of them right there. Almanza, Spoonie, Barger, and Looper. Vigna goes the other way, but it's caught by Hollingsworth, sending Matheny back to second.
Well, they've held Fernando Vigna in check, 0 for 5 tonight.
Well, you look at any situation where a setup guy struggles, it's not so easy for the manager because there are guys you're given and they have certain roles, and in Vladimir Nunez's case, he was able to stay in that role until Sunday, and that was kind of the last straw for Jeff Torborg. Base hit up the middle for Palmeiro. Matheny scores the 8th Cardinal run. So Nunez gave up 2 runs in the 7th, and Neal has allowed 1 here in the 8th.
Number 26, center fielder, Eli Moreno.
And it has been a struggle for Blaine Neal. He had that 1 inning in New York that was a 1-2-3 inning, and that's been the only inning he's pitched that he's had a 1-2-3 inning.
Situation kind of similar in New York, where Art Howe has continued to use Armando Benitez in that closer's role. There's just not much margin for error in most bullpens, and you can't just take a guy out of that role for 3 or 4 weeks because it really messes up the rest of your pen. The best news for the Marlins is that Tim Spoonie Barger has really stepped it up, and Armando Almanza has as well. And of course, Braden Looper has been good since early 2002 in that closer role. That is a fair ball past Derek Lee. Palmeiro will be held at third, and for Eli Marrero, he's only been in the game for a couple of innings, but he has a home run and a double.
This is certainly picking him up because he came into this game hitting 154. He'd really been struggling. The home run he hit was his first one of the year. And sometimes a guy gets an opportunity, and you see Jeff Torborg doing the same, trying to get some at-bats. And La Russa has gotten guys in there to get some ABs.
So the Cardinals now have 9 hits. 7 have come in the last 2 innings. And this will end the top of the 8th. They add another run. It's 8-1 Cardinals. Florida Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Net is being brought to you in part by Chevy. The cars you can depend on, the cars that last, will be there. And by Just for Men, more than a hair color, it's the Rejuvenator. And let's also check out the Chevrolet upcoming game schedule. There it is, tomorrow night and Sunday over the air on PAX 35. And the the Marlins television network, and then the first 3 on Fox Sports Net from Arizona. 9 o'clock for Marlins on deck. Brett Tomko now in his 8th inning of work here tonight. The Marlins, of course, will miss Matt Morris and Woody Williams in this series. That's Tino in foul territory.
Good changeup, and it's a pitch that Tomko's used very effectively all night.
Only went 8 innings his last time out. Gave up just 1 run in that affair against Arizona. Boy, efficient too. 91 pitches at this point. Outside to Pudge for ball 1. Hard hit at Renteria. That'll bring up Encarnacion, who's 1 for 3. Oh, we mentioned the 8 hits the Marlins have, but no extra base hits. So Tomko's been able to spread them out and has really limited the damage.
He's been able to get 14 outs via the ground.
Going into action tonight, the Cubs, the leaders of the NL Central, at 13-9, and they lead the Rockies 4-0 in the 3rd. Houston lost at Montreal tonight, 10-2, so no shutout for the Expos, but they get their 14th win. Houston now 10-12. Pittsburgh with a loss, also 10-12. And the Cardinals came into their action tonight, 3 games back. So the Cubs, the only team over 500 in that division. 4 teams in the NL East over 500.
Yeah, the Cubs have the youngster Mark Pryor pitching tonight.
Three and 2 on the Marlins cleanup hitter, Juan Encarnacion. Extended his week-long hitting streak to 7 with a single in the 4th. We'll see the Astros next weekend at Minute Maid Park. Blaine Neal allowed a run in the 8th inning, and no action in the Marlins bullpen. We'll likely see him again in the 9th. So it will be interesting to see how that NL Central shakes out. Reds have gotten off to a slow start. Of course, Milwaukee doesn't appear to be a factor. You know the Cardinals will. And I think the big question, can Dusty Baker's Cubs stay with it all year? They've gotten great pitching thus far. Battle here between Tomko and Encarnacion.
Well, he keeps throwing that 2-seam fastball down and in, and Encarnacion keeps fouling it off his front leg or foot. Here comes that fastball. He swung on top of it and caught him on top of the foot or somewhere on the ankle.
And out comes Mike Kozak to take a look. just looking, the Cubs lead the National League in ERA right now. They're second in runs scored, and I think that was one question people had about the Cubs. Could they score enough runs? So they're second. The Rockies are first, and they're meeting up this weekend.
A couple of guys who have been really instrumental early on. They've been hitting at the top of the lineup. Mark Grudzielanek and the Cubs' Alex Gonzalez out of Miami.
Well, you had the best line. It's a good year to be named Alex Gonzalez.
So far.
This will be the 11th pitch of this at bat. And Encarnacion draws the 2-out walk. And that's the first one allowed by Brett Tomko. He had walked 11 in his first 4 starts. Gerald Williams will be the pinch runner for Encarnacion. I believe that's the first time that I can remember that Encarnacion hasn't been in the game to start this season. Popped up by Lowell, just tosses the bat in that dugout. And the 8th inning is in the books. 8-1 St. Louis. Now let's see, as they say, the Jaguar game summary. Albert Pujols with a 2-run homer in the first off A.J. Burnett. The Cardinals got 3 in that opening inning. Later had added 5 and lead 8-1. Blaine Neal's still in there to start the ninth against Scott Rowland. Gerald Williams stays in the game. He's in right field. And I did check. Juan Encarnacion, as you look at Ramon Castro behind the plate, has missed 3 innings. There's Mike Mordecai. He's at second base. Juan came out early on opening day, and then that 17-1 blowout at Atlanta. Two and 1 on the former Philly, Scott Rowland.
Yeah, it's funny how when you were talking a couple of at-bats ago with Rowland up there, you just think of him as a Cardinal fitting in. You really don't think of him as a Philly. Of course, he was with the Phillies longer than he's been with St. Louis.
Placido Polanco was involved in that trade, played third base in the second half last year, and David Bell was acquired in the offseason to essentially replace Rowland at third base with the Phillies.
Albert Pujols played some third base.
That's right.
With St. Louis.
Neal's 1-0 to Tino Martinez. Pass Derek Lee into right. First and third, nobody out. 2 hits for Martinez tonight.
And again, I just think, and it's certainly worth saying, is something's just going to have to be done with Blaine Neal and Vladimir Nunez to get them on track so they can help the ball club out of that bullpen.
Wilson Delgado, a switch batting utility infielder, will hit for Edgar Renteria and likely stay in the game at short for the last of the ninth.
I guess, to me, one of the most amazing things is it looks like this lead will hold up for St. Louis. The Marlins will be 12-12. Their starters have gone 7-8, and their bullpen has been very inconsistent.
Going to get a run in, but the Marlins get a 4-6-3 double play. So they give up a run for 2 outs. No RBI for Delgado. It's 9-1.
So they've managed to tread water and stay at that 500 mark, even though they clearly haven't put things together.
Yeah, I would agree with you. They were consistent against the Brewers, certainly, and won some close ball games. But prior to that, really hadn't been able to put everything together, all phases, the starters, the bullpen, the defense, the offense.
So I guess if there's any bit of good news out of all that is that they are 500.
And I think the Cardinals would say the same thing. If they hold on tonight, they'll be a game under at 10 and 11. And certainly injuries have been more of a factor for the Cardinals. But this is a team that went through so much adversity last year, losing Darryl Kyle, and just before that, Hall of Fame broadcaster Jack Buck. But they got to the postseason and went to the NLCS. Tony La Russa was named the manager of the year. You look at tomorrow night's starter, Josh Beckett.
Well, the Cardinals have had over 90 wins the last 3 years.
Well, let's also underline it when you talk about the starters. The Marlins, a 500 team, and no wins yet from their ace, A.J. Burnett. And of course, he got off to a late start, spending the first week or so on the DL.
Yeah, tonight was A.J.'s 4th start of the year.
Two and two on Matheny. Nobody on, 2 out. Check swing. Got him on strikes. It's 9-1 Cardinals as we head to the bottom of the 9th. Now here's a Pennzoil protection play. Pennzoil, we're driving protection. Glover Scott Rowland made a terrific play in the 5th to retire Juan Pierre.
Boy, how many times have you seen that? 4 gold gloves for Rowland. He knew he had to get rid of it quickly. Bare hand, got a great grip on the ball, and then threw it with something on it over to Tino Martinez.
There's Wilson Delgado. He stays in the game at shortstop. Vigna's out. Miguel Cairo is in. And Brett Tomko is trying to get his 6th career complete game. We saw a complete game last night. Mark Redmond of the Marlins in a 4-2 Florida win. Popped up by Derek Lee, and Miguel Cairo squeezes the leather. Bring up Alex Gonzalez.
Hey, Brett Tomko's made it look pretty easy tonight. He's really changed speeds. The thing that has surprised me a little bit is that in the past he's been a fly ball type pitcher. He's thrown a lot of good 2-seam fastballs, got a lot of ground ball outs, and all the base hits he's allowed have been singles.
Now he gets to work on the pop-up drills. 2 putouts for Cairo here in the 9th. So if Tomko can get out of this inning without a run, you look at his last 2 starts, it will have been 17 innings and 2 runs. Got a lot more run support tonight than he did in his last outing, losing 1-0.
Well, he had 3 complete games last year with San Diego. It'll be his 6th career complete game.
$12,081 here at the ballpark tonight. Todd Hollingsworth to deep right field. It's a home run, his first as a Marlin. 5th home run allowed by Tomko, 75 in his career for Hollinsworth.
He's actually picked up Tomko pretty well. There's the breaking ball. It drops right into a good hitting zone for him. But he lined out to center field. Remember the shoestring catch by Edmonds in the 2nd inning. He hit a sacrifice fly in the 7th inning, hit that ball pretty well, and then took care of that breaking ball from Tomko.
Pinch hitting appearance for Andy Fox, his first action since last weekend against the Mets. You may remember Andy came into the game on Saturday in the 8th inning, committed an error, but got a base hit in the 9th. No hit tonight for Andy Fox, and the Cardinals have snapped a 5-game losing streak. The Marlins' 3-game winning streak also over. Brett Tomko with the complete game gave up 9 hits and a couple of runs. And he's our Nissan player of the game. Final tonight, 9-2. Let's take a look at Brett Tomko's night.
Let's see how he works the hitters. There's a fastball that he used. Another fastball that he runs up and in to Derek Lee. He got a lot of pop flies on that changeup, and he also used his curveball. 6th career complete game, his first of the year. And as Len pointed out, he's had back-to-back real good outings. 8 innings his last time out. And the complete game tonight.
9-2 the final. St. Louis takes game 1, and we'll have more from the ballpark in a moment. Florida Marlins baseball on Fox Sports Net has been brought to you in part by Jaguar, the art of performance. Jaguar. By Supra Telecom Long Distance, 5 cents per minute, anytime, anywhere in the U.S. By your local South Florida Ford dealers. By Pennzoil, protection for the way you drive. Pennzoil, we're driving protection. And by Nissan and your Nissan dealers. Well, the Cardinals took game 1 tonight as we take a look at the South Florida Ford final box score. 9-2 the final. Brett Tomko with the complete game win. He gave up 9 hits and 2 runs. A.J. Burnett drops to 0-2 with a loss. He gave up 3 runs in the 1st inning, then settled down, and some bullpen questions, Tommy, with Vladimir Nunez and Blaine Neal both giving up a couple of runs.
Well, I think sooner or later they'll have to be addressed, and both guys continue to struggle. I know they're working hard. They are going in the right direction in their work, but they have to show some results on the field.
That's going to wrap up our coverage from the ballpark tonight. You can join us for more Marlins action tomorrow evening at 6 on the Marlins Television Network. And we're back on Fox Sports Net Monday night at 9 for Marlins on Deck from Bank One Ballpark in Arizona. Coming up next, the best damn sports show, period. And once again, our final score tonight, St. Louis 9, Florida 2. Thanks to our producer, Brett Updike, our director, Jim Holly, graphics and stats man, Ken Lee, and our entire Fox Sports Net crew. And now Len Casper for Tommy Hutton and Craig Minervini. Good night from Miami.